So I'm going to walk through essentially their points of self-reflection. So as I mention them, as I bring them up, I want you to, if you have the worksheet, print it off. If you don't, write it down. If they stand out to you as like, oh yeah, that's relevant to me, right? One more thing I want to add to what I was saying, because I think it's important. I think it definitely ties into it's connecting here, but ties into what we talked about last week with creating household systems, because one of the things that helped me create better systems was to recognize the role I played as kind of whatever you want to call it, the CEO, the manager, the administrator of the household. Like, it's so much easier for me to get things done when I take on that administrative role and then delegate it to the family. But as long as I expect them to just notice and do it anyways, it doesn't happen, right? That's kind of the thing I wanted to emphasize about the differences in the brain. They do not notice the same things I notice, or even more importantly, necessarily think it's important to be done. So if I think it's important, one, I need to do it myself, or two, I need to very specifically tell them that it's important to me and needs to be done, because otherwise they're not going to do it. It's not obvious to them. Does that make sense? Like, I guess I just want to emphasize, if you can make that mental shift, it makes a huge difference in the dynamics of your house with how things get done, because you're like, I'm the administrator here and I'm going to help you very clearly know what to do, rather than standing back and saying, I'm hoping everybody's going to start noticing what needs to be done and then do it.
And expect
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yeah, right. This is worth writing down and just really thinking about. Don't expect them to feel the same amount of importance for something that you feel. If it's important to you, understand why and learn how to articulate it to them and set up systems so you're not operating in frustration and resentment all the time.
Okay, let's start with the list. So it's in categories. We're going to start with emotional. Okay, first of all, you guys know my analogy that I love. Greg says I beat it like a dead horse, but I'm going to keep beating this dead horse because to me, it just works. Google Maps. If you're going to map a route, you have to have two things. What are they? Where you're starting from and where you're going. You cannot, it's literally impossible to map a route if you don't know where you're starting from and you don't know where you're going. Just try it. Google Maps will be like, nope, does not compute, can't do it. So it's just the same with everything else. It's the same with this. We have to know where we're starting from and we have to know where we want to go. So we're starting with, where are we at? Where are you at right now? First section, emotional and relational challenges. So I'm going to read through these. If we have comments, we can comment, but mostly it's self-reflection. Write it down, see if it's relevant to you. Feeling unsupported or alone. For example, I'm doing everything myself. I feel like a single parent with a roommate. Emotional labor often falls disproportionately on me as a mom, even if both parents work.
You can either do it like just kind of rate yourself, maybe a 1 through 10 on each of these. So as she reads each one of these, just kind of be like, where am I at 1 through 10 on this?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like this game. Okay. Next one, lack of emotional intimacy. Communication becomes transactional about logistics, chores, and schedules. You crave deep conversations, connection, and being truly seen.
Here's some of these numbers. Sorry, I can't tell. Just throw them in the chat. Where are you at?
If you want.
Or if you don't.
No pressure.
No pressure. Just do it.
I'm going to keep going.
No, you can't keep going. Oh, so good. You have to go back. Go back.
Wait. We're going to do where we're at, and then we're going to do where we're going. And so we'll talk about it. Okay. Is 10 the best? 10, I would say 10 is.
So as she's reading it, she's like, 10 things are
bad.
Fantastic.
10 is good.
Mine's like, yeah, so in the last one, you're like, yeah, I am feeling alone. Was it alone? Feeling emotionally alone?
Yeah, lack of emotional intimacy.
Yeah, so lacking, like how much emotional intimacy do we have? Where's that on the scale? The things feel fantastic. We're deeply connected right now. Or you're like, I'm feeling a little bit separated, a little bit distant, a little cold, a little lonely.
And in case you didn't notice, men generally prioritize physical intimacy over emotional intimacy. So we have to hold up the hand and says, hold on a second. Wait a second. We need some emotional intimacy before physical intimacy, right?
And
that's our job.
And men often feel
we can't assume that they have that same need and just think like, why aren't they making that a priority? We have to make it a priority if that's important for us.
And men feel deep emotional connection either during sex or after.
Yeah.
And most women want to feel deep emotional connection before sex. So the timing is off. And so you have to navigate them, talk about it, work through it to make sure the connection is better.
Yeah. But we'll get into that. I just to get through it. Okay. This is still under emotional and relational. Different parenting styles. So conflict about discipline, screen time, routines. One parent may feel undermined or that the other parent is disengaged. Next.
Man, that one can be tough.
Next, resentment buildup from unequal division of labor, unspoken expectations, or unmet needs. You might not express it, it just simmers until it boils over. Okay, next section. Practical and daily life stressors. First one, unequal division of household duties. Moms often become the default parent, managing meals, schools, appointments. Even when dads help, she might still be the one that's keeping the mental checklist.
It's kind of a given. I can't think of any men I know that are like, oh yeah, I totally got this. I got the household
as
checklist.
We're talking about this whole concept, some moms don't always know that. They're not necessarily aware. Like I'm saying, like I had to come to this realization that I was the one keeping the mental checklist because I thought, oh, surely he's keeping the checklist too. So I realized, oh no, he's not. So then I had to share the checklist so he knew what was on the list, right? Okay. Disagreement about roles. Some couples never have had a real conversation about who does what, so they default to old patterns or previous family models. Next, no time or energy for each other. By the end of the day, you're exhausted. Intimacy, date nights, and connection fall to the bottom of the list. Next, feeling like he's not pulling his weight. So now there's actually a difference here. One is he's not actually pulling his weight. But two is you feel like he's not pulling his weight. And both of those can be just as challenging, right? So it's important to have a conversation because then you can get clarity and hopefully feel different about that when you realize, oh, you're actually doing more than I thought you were. Right? Because that happens. Especially when you're overwhelmed or burn out, the gap in perceived effort can feel enormous. So you can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so much. I'm so exhausted. And from your perspective, you can be like, he's not doing anything. Look at him. But part of that.
He's still smiling. How dare
he? Clearly, he's stressed.
He's not worried about the well-being of our house.
Exactly. So clearly, he has no clue about what's going on, right? When in reality, he right. So, but in reality, there's an entire load he's carrying that we're also not aware of. Okay, next, last section. Mental and identity challenges. One, losing yourself in motherhood. Feeling like your spouse doesn't notice or validate that loss. Next, different growth rates. You may be on a personal development journey while he seems stuck or resistant to change. Next, no safe space to express your emotions. If you feel judged, dismissed, or misunderstood when you bring up hard feelings. And the last one, becoming co-parents and not lovers. All focus goes to the kids. You stop nurturing the romantic connection.
Everything becomes transactional. You're just you're not partners, you're just roommates. You're just taking care of, paying the bills, doing house, it's just transactions. And like we like to contrast is it can be transactional or transformational. And if it just becomes transactional, and that happens too, or even your dates are like, we go on a date and you just talk about all the things we need to do.
Right.
Yeah, it's great. More the same.
Yeah.
Just talking about stuff and things.
Yeah. So essentially I want at this moment for you to get in your mind at least a few clear starting points.